Today, I want to talk to you about something which should be terrifying: manipulation through mind control. And I'm not talking about crazy conspiracy theory here. I'm talking about the real reasons life has become so difficult and the world seems to be going to hell in a handbasket. Look, I know your time is precious and I don't want to waste it. So I wanted to share my thoughts with you about that very subject because I really feel if you are willing to invest just a bit of your time here with me, it will end up saving you a lot. And I'm not just talking about your time. If there's one thing I am absolutely aware of, it's how nobody has any time anymore. And one of the simplest ways I know that has to do with my channel itself. I've spoken with countless people on a local level. Yes, given them my business card. Not hard pressing them, just maybe some brief chit chat and asking them if they might be kind enough to check out my channel. Just about all of them say they will. Very few of them actually do. When on occasion I run into those same people, I sometimes politely ask if they ever had a chance to check out my channel, and I often get the same response. No, I really want to. I've just been very busy. So since I have no reason to doubt them, I take what they say at face value. And since I have done this with a hell of a lot of people, that leads me to the obvious conclusion that a hell of a lot of people are busy. I understand that. But I also believe that if you're honestly so busy that you can't even commit to checking out a single video on a YouTube channel, you're not just busy, you're too damn busy. So if everybody is so damn busy, what are they doing? Well, I'd be willing to bet they're being too damn busy with the same thing that everyone else is being too damn busy with: working, trying to make ends meet. And I totally understand that because that's how the system works. Now, if you've stuck around this long, I appreciate that. And now I'm going to tell you exactly how the system works. If you're one of the many millions of average folks, you're not wealthy and you're not part of the professional class. Your destiny, as far as the system is concerned, you will work the rest of your life. You will own nothing, and the system really doesn't give a damn if you're happy. So if you didn't care for that not exactly rosy picture of your future I just painted, and you really want to do something about it, well, I can tell you about that too. But that's not the focus of this episode. So you'll have to reach out to me and let me know. The purpose of this episode is to let you know how you're being screwed. Because until you know that, you can't really form an effective plan to stop being screwed. Let me start out by giving this old saying to keep in mind with what I'm about to tell you. If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. The system I'm talking about, as far as it relates to you, is only concerned with one thing: from the cradle to the grave: control. It wants you to work at the lowest possible cost, and then it wants you to spend your free time working against your own self interest as much as possible. The system wants you to engage in as much meaningless, time wasting, and stupid shit as possible, with no actual interest or regard for your own self improvement whatsoever. That is what the system wants. And for the last 60 years, it's been doing a pretty damn good job of doing that. Now, having said all that truth about the system, a system that screws you from every angle, here's another truth you probably don't want to hear, even though you're overworked, underpaid, and don't have a proverbial pot to piss in. If you really want to know who's truly responsible for this, you only have to look in a mirror. If you've stuck with me so far, that's great, because now I'm going to tell you another brutal truth you need to hear, so you'll be better equipped to overcome the system I've been talking about that's been controlling you your entire fucking life. So, I just told you about the system, and its ultimate purpose is to control. Well, in conjunction with the other distractions I mentioned previously, here's one of the greatest tools the system uses for control, and it's conveniently everywhere in plain sight. This is the same tool that Russia used and continues to use for centuries, as well as what America used to conquer and subdue the Indians: alcohol. But there's one big catch here. The reason why alcohol works so perfectly as a system tool of control is that the person who uses it loses their objectivity about its negative cognitive effects. And the more you use it, the greater the negative effect. It's a vicious cycle because you cannot see the negative effects objectively. Yet, in the meantime, the system succeeds because to a greater or lesser extent, you are being controlled. Anyone who's ever tried to reason with a drunk person understands this all too well. Now, I'm not going to go into a lengthy discussion about it, but suffice to say that a very large percentage of America's working class is essentially perpetually intoxicated because even moderate drinking screws up the brain's functionality that much, which suits the system just fine. Because alcohol, besides the damage it does to the rest of your body, steals the will and affects cognitive abilities. It is an excellent tool for system control of large populations. So basically, to a large extent, many Americans, like those that get fairly intoxicated even just twice a week, which is not unusual, are perpetually intoxicated. And even if it's not alcohol, it's all the other endless social entertainment and various other dopamine masturbation distractions that weaken you. And then, just in case all of that shit isn't enough to trap you in complete endless dysfunctionality and failure, there's yet one more trick up the system's control sleeve. This is the big daddy in the system control screwing you department: consumerism. I'll just let two of the greatest thinkers of the 20th century cover this. Quote, millions of mindless people endlessly buying shit they didn't need and didn't want, George Carlin. Or quote, wage working, shopping, and being entertained. That's the average American's life, as though they are in a trance till the day they die. Unquote. S.E. Moore. Well, like I said, I know your time is precious. So if you stuck around here to the end, I sincerely thank you. I'll just finish this by saying I hope I've at least given you a bit of food for thought, because I sure as hell know I've given this a lot of thought. And it really explains to me why, when all those folks that tell me they haven't visited my channel because they didn't have the time, it's probably true. Because they were probably very busy, wasting it. So, if you found this episode informative or entertaining, please consider subscribing. And if you just want to reach out to me with whatever's on your mind, you can do so by clicking on my contact link in the description below. Until next time, this is Ernest, and it's all I've got for today.